Coming up now on Carolina News, severe winter weather is pounding the nation today. See which roadways are being hit the worst. And military cuts aren't only affecting those on Fort Jackson's base, see who else might be affected as well. And in South Carolina, crews are still cleaning up debris from the storm that rocked the state. See how this may affect your travel plans. All this and more coming up on Carolina News.
Live from the capital city, Carolina News brings you your news first. With breaking news and in-depth reporting. Up-to-the-minute weather. And all your sports news and highlights. It's all here, now, on Carolina News.
Hello and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Amanda Bishop.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Butler. More snow is expected over the next 12 hours for much of the U.S. Many states have already exceeded record levels of snowfall this season, but are still facing issues with each new storm. Shannon Fair shows us the problems some states are already dealing with.
From Washington State to Washington, D.C., it seems that almost everywhere is dealing with severe traffic issues due to today's winter storm. Some scenarios were all too familiar to road crews, dozens of stuck drivers trying to get their cars back on the road. But some states had much bigger concerns. Officials in Missouri had to close down one of their main highways after there was at least 6 accidents involving cars and semi-trucks. Some people reported being in standstill traffic for over 12 hours.
What did you see?
We were coming back to Kansas City from track and field championships, our conference championships, and I think we got to the accident site at about 11.
How long were you there?
I woke up this morning around 4 o'clock and we were still there.
Traffic near Dallas was backed up for 34 miles, causing many motorists to be stuck overnight on the road. Conditions have gotten so bad in Virginia and Tennessee that the governors have declared a state of emergency. Washington, D.C., which is already seeing many stranded cars on the side of the roads, is expected to get an additional foot by the end of the day. Shannon Fair, Carolina News.
Although South Carolina won't be seeing any snow in the next few days, the weather continues to inconvenience the state. The winter storm is causing all kinds of cancellations and delays for air travelers. More than 1,100 flights have been canceled across the country today, as well as many as 6 canceled flights at the Columbia Airport, most of them arrivals from the Northeast. A spokesperson for the airport says to be proactive and know your flight status in advance.
If there's a potential for weather where you're going, go ahead and call ahead, even if you've not heard from your airline. For the passenger to be proactive, call ahead and see if your airline has already made the decision for your flight.
The Weather Channel says about 90 million people may be affected by the winter storm pounding the country.
Weather specialist Taylor Bingham is outside to let us know if we're going to see any of that severe weather as well.
Windy conditions here in Columbia today. That's only going to cool us down into the upper 20s tonight. Possibility of rain and some sleet tonight. That's going to continue into tomorrow morning. We're going to see clear skies Tuesday and Wednesday. But is that rain going to come back for the rest of the week? I'll have more coming up in the full forecast.
The winter storm is long gone, but the trail of debris left behind has the South Carolina Department of Transportation busy, to say the least. Margaret Ann Carter traveled down I-26 to see just how hard crews are working to clean up South Carolina's interstates.
Broken limbs and fallen trees line the sides of I-26 and I-95. But you may not have noticed the hundreds of men working day and night to remove all debris from the roads. Interstate 26 and 95 are 2 of the most driven highways in South Carolina, with thousands of people driving up and down them every day.
We have almost 500 contract crews that are working in 19 counties across the state right now. And as of yesterday, we've removed about 278,000 cubic yards of debris.
The South Carolina DOT has had workers picking up debris on the highway for 2 weeks now. Worker Randy Hughes says he's been out there every day with chainsaw in hand, cutting down anything that could possibly cause problems for drivers.
We're just cutting back some of the brush till we get the machines in to clean everything up and pick it up, just to make the emergency lane clear so if anybody needs to get off the road.
Cook is the state maintenance engineer for the South Carolina DOT. He says he works with all counties to plan the best ways to keep traffic flowing.
So we actually met this morning and we're revising our traffic control plan. We're going to try to do most of the work just with a shoulder closure only.
While the South Carolina Department of Transportation acknowledges that there will be traffic on the roads during this time, they're trying to accommodate all drivers and workers by working at times where there are less cars on the road.
And certainly we would like to ask the public to try to be patient. I know it's an inconvenience, but we certainly want to make sure we keep everything very safe out there.
And while he can't promise a date, he says crews are working very hard to get the roads cleaned up as soon as possible. Margaret Ann Carter, Carolina News.
The South Carolina DOT says although there aren't any counties receiving federal money to maintain the roads at this time, they plan to reimburse any counties who have had to invest in the cleanup.
An arrest has been made in the murder of an 18-year-old girl in Elgin. Brianna Rabone's body was found last Wednesday in the woods. After watching surveillance videos and searching through a car, 21-year-old Stephen Ross Kelly was arrested for murder, kidnapping, and criminal sexual conduct Friday night. Kelly's attorney announced today that he will waive Kelly's right to a bond hearing.
A White House official says Russian forces now have complete operational control of the Crimean Peninsula. The U.S. estimates some 6,000 Russian ground and naval forces are now in the region. Ukraine's new leaders accuse Russia of declaring war with their military intervention in the region. NATO's Secretary General says Russia's actions violate international law. Russia is now threatening the Ukraine with military force if they do not abandon their bases in the next 11 hours. President Obama issued a strong warning to the Russian President Vladimir Putin that their actions in the Ukraine will hurt them in the international community.
U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel announced plans to cut the military and particularly make cuts to the Army. Rebecca Ball tells us how this cut could affect Columbia's economy beyond the gates of Fort Jackson.
The Pentagon plans call for cuts to the Army down by 80,000 soldiers. The cuts would bring the Army down to the smallest it has been since before World War II. The plans concern many military workers in South Carolina. A study from the Department of Commerce found South Carolina receives $15 billion in revenue from the military installations around the state. Columbia's Fort Jackson is the largest Army training base in the U.S. Fort Jackson trains nearly 45,000 soldiers a year, employs 3,000 civilian workers, and also houses 3,000 plus active duty soldiers. Fort Jackson's impact on the Midlands and the state reaches almost $2 billion a year.
Potential military cuts won't only affect those who work at Fort Jackson, but may also affect businesses in the surrounding area.
Businesses near Fort Jackson receive a lot of business from soldiers.
A lot of soldiers in here. We get at least about 70% of our business come from the military base.
Businesses are concerned that Army cutbacks will harm their sales.
Because once they get budget cuts and the business slows down, and I have to cut hours. So it affects my employees too.
The cutbacks will be a part of the Pentagon's budget that still has to be voted on by Congress. Rebecca Ball, Carolina News.
Many members of Congress have already said they question the planned budget and will oppose many of the cuts the Secretary of Defense has proposed. The New York Times says there may be new hope in the fight against type 2 diabetes. One recent study of 150,000 people found a rare gene mutation that could help protect you from the disease. Noticeable effects were seen right away, reducing the risk by 2/3. The mutation is believed to lower the risk in overweight people as well. Pfizer and Amgen, the two companies who sponsored the study, are currently working to make a drug that mimics the mutation. It could still be 10 to 20 years before the drug reaches the market. More research is planned to take place in order to understand exactly how the mutation lowers the risk. And that's great news, obviously, for anybody who has diabetes or it runs in their family.
Yeah, it really is. That's really awesome that they've been able to find that out. So, coming up after the break, USC students are using a new diet pill for weight loss. But does the so-called miracle pill actually work? Find out next.
I believe that home is where your pet is.
Diet pills have been on the market for years, but when a pill called coffee bean extract was featured on the popular Dr. Oz show, the pill swarmed social media. Michelle Burrows has been researching this new diet fad and took a closer look on this so-called weight loss cure.
You may think magic is make-believe, but this little bean has scientists saying they found the magic weight loss cure for every body type.
It's hard not to stop and listen when you hear something like that, especially when it's coming from a doctor.
And he was talking about all the good things it does, and I was like, yeah, it's true. I was like, I mean, it works for me. I guess it depends on the person, really, but it worked for me, and I loved it.
Jackie Moreno, a USC senior, says the pills are what gives her the energy she needs to exercise.
And when I saw this was coffee bean, I was like, hey, well, I mean, less calories.
But not everyone thinks these pills are magical.
There's no pill that's going to change anything. And I mean, if there was, we probably would have figured it out by now because there's been so many fads.
Roseanne Sullivan, a USC grad student, says the pills didn't help her lose weight, but finding a new lifestyle did.
The magic pill is just trying to eat as healthy as you can.
The ads on Facebook like this are what's drawing all of those students into buying these pills, especially with words like pure and all natural and doctor recommended. So I went to a professional to see what her opinion was on these ads.
When you hear the word natural, so is digitoxin. It's a root from a tree, and that can kill somebody.
USC nutritionist Lisa Money says the active ingredient in the pill, called chlorogenic acid, has been shown in some studies to help with weight loss. But she says there are other ways to get that ingredient.
Chlorogenic acid can be naturally found in blueberries, apples, pears, green tea. So actually a healthful diet with plenty of fruits and vegetables are going to give you chlorogenic acid.
Money says to be aware of products that say natural.
No to a supplement to help you lose weight. Yes to long-term proven methods.
So while some say the magic is real,
it did exactly what it said. It worked. Nothing was bad for me. It gave me the energy I needed.
Others don't.
I just threw them in the trash and I just never really thought about them again.
The green coffee bean extract pills are not regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, and even Dr. Oz says to always beware when buying unregulated supplements online. Michelle Burrows, Carolina News.
For information on personal nutrition plans and how to learn about specific supplements, you can contact the USC Health Center.
Ellen DeGeneres made history last night while hosting the Oscars in quite an unusual way. What began as a selfie with Meryl Streep quickly turned into an all-out movie star-packed photo. Ellen made the comment that she was trying to make the picture the most retweeted photo of all time, and with over 2.6 million retweets and temporarily shutting down Twitter, it certainly was. It actually only took 34 minutes for her to break the record, passing President Barack Obama's victory photo from his re-election that had less than 1 million retweets. And Taylor Bingham is outside the Coliseum with another look at the weather.
Cloudy and wet day here in Columbia, but when are we going to see clear skies? I'll have more coming up next.
It is important for young people to have a mentor in their life.
And now we have Taylor Bingham here with weather.
Yeah.
Taylor, it was nice this weekend, but today kind of took a
Absolutely.
turn for the worse, I think.
Definitely. I think this morning it got kind of wet and it was kind of on and off all day. But throughout the day we've seen some clouds, some rain, but right now it's only cloudy, 66 degrees. It's kind of moderate out there. A lot of wind though, 12 miles per hour. A lot of humidity. Check the hair, it might get big. But all that wind is going to bring in some cooler temperatures. Partly cloudy skies, but that rain is going to come in the morning. That's only a 50% chance. Low is going to be cooler. That could cause some sleet for tonight. Wednesday it should clear out, and Tuesday afternoon. But Thursday and Friday it is going to be very wet, but temperatures are going to stay in the 50s, so not too bad. And Saturday it's going to clear right back up.
Well, good. So I should definitely carry an umbrella with me this week just in case.
Absolutely.
As long as it doesn't snow, I'm okay with that.
No snow.
The spring weather's great. Coming up, a big weekend for USC baseball. We'll take a look at how the Gamecocks swept the Palmetto Series. Brixton Lane is here with sports. It was an intense 3 days for the Gamecock baseball team, wasn't it?
Very intense, very exciting. It's considered one of the strongest rivalries in all of college baseball, and South Carolina continues to dominate the Palmetto State Series. Now, any game between USC and Clemson is sure to get the fans talking, but Annie Condura shows us how some players try to bring a lighter side to the rivalry.
South Carolina swept Clemson for the first time in the regular season since 2008, and it all started with a bomb from Grayson Griner.
Parking lot, we have a 6-5 game. Grayson Griner
I hit a grand slam, and then we tacked on 3 or 4 more runs, and we ended up winning 9-6. So it was a big comeback win for us.
The Gamecocks are known for coming from behind. It makes for an exciting game and an even better win, especially against the Tigers.
We always feel like anything can happen no matter what the score is, but that was one of the crazier games I've ever been a part of.
The baseball team swept in style. Now comes the expected banter from the fans. Tweets were sent referring to some of the players' mothers while also making fun of the players' height and size. The fans can sometimes get a little too involved in the rivalry, and it shows on social media. But the players, they think it's funny. Marcus Mooney had the game-winning hit Sunday and recaps the weekend. He says the jawing between the fans just motivates him more.
So I just put the ball in play. Hopefully I didn't hit it to anyone, and I found the gap, got it in there, we scored 2 runs, and we were tied.
Excitement isn't the word to describe his emotion after his game-winning hit.
It sent shivers down me timbers.
Marcus dealt with crude remarks from Clemson fans all weekend. He says the comments range from remarks about his girlfriend to making fun of his walk-up song.
That's my song, so what? Dance to it if you want, but in the meantime, I'm dancing to it in my head when I'm up to bat.
It doesn't matter what Clemson fans are saying, he's still wobbling.
Okay, that's it. That's all you're getting.
Annie Conduras, Carolina News.
You gotta pay to see the rest.
The Gamecocks have won 23 of the last 31 matchups against the Tigers. Now, the college baseball world is taking notice of South Carolina's big weekend. Collegiate baseball has the Gamecocks at number 1 in the country. Florida State owns the number 2 spot. Cal State Fullerton sits at number 3. Fellow SEC member LSU is 4th, and Virginia is 5th. Baseball America has the Gamecocks ranked number 3 in the country. USC is 4th in the perfect game poll. And the Gamecocks are one of only 2 teams in the SEC still undefeated. And South Carolina is off to its hottest start since 2005, when the team also began the season 10-0. The Gamecocks are back on the field tomorrow afternoon to start a 2-game series with Stetson. Now, moving to the hardwood, while wins over ranked teams have been fairly common for South Carolina's baseball team, USC basketball hasn't had much success against top competition, but the Gamecocks had a chance to get a signature win with 17th-ranked Kentucky in town on Saturday. USC hadn't beaten a ranked team since January of 2011, but the Gamecocks came to play Saturday night. Early in the second half, Sindarius Thornwell finds Lamonas Hakevicius for the jam. Later in the half, it's the alley-oop to Michael Carrera. South Carolina, at one point during the second half, led by 16 points, but the Wildcats storm back. 3-point lead for the Gamecocks under a minute to go. Hakevicius with the hook shot, and that would do it. South Carolina upsets Kentucky. That's a $25,000 court storming you're watching, so Harris Pastides has to break out the checkbook. South Carolina improves to 11-18 on the season, and no time to rest for the Gamecocks. Top-ranked Florida comes to town tomorrow night. Tip-off is scheduled for 7 o'clock. And speaking of top-ranked teams, USC's equestrian team picked up a big win Saturday. South Carolina knocked off second-ranked Auburn 12-7 to clinch the number 1 seed in the SEC championship. The Gamecocks wrap up the regular season next weekend on the road against UT Martin. The SEC championships begin March the 28th. And the equestrian team, they don't get a lot of headlines. They've been good for a really long time.
They have been. That's
and
awesome.
they get to host, I think, the SEC tournament. So maybe everybody will have to take a trip out to Blythewood to see them.
Wood Farm.
Oh, yeah.
Well, coming up, find out why this couple is tying the knot in a hospital.
It is important for young people to have a mentor in their life.
A North Carolina couple tied the knot on Friday at a hospital in Greensboro, North Carolina, so the father's bride could attend. Crystal and Michael Nedham were originally supposed to be married in June, but they changed the date and the location because Crystal's father, Kenneth Weitzel, is dying. Weitzel has cancer, and doctors say he isn't expected to get much better. His advice to his daughter and new son-in-law, just take care of each other, and we will all be fine. Weitzel said that was the best day of his life, and I think that advice to his new son-in-law and daughter can really be something we can all take to heart and use in our own lives.
That's such a sweet story. I wish I had the tissues.
I know. That's so precious.
Anything about love. So, anyways, Taylor, how is it looking for the rest of this week?
Well, the rest of the week, honestly, tomorrow we're going to just have rain in the morning. That's all from the rain from tonight as well. It's going to clear out in the afternoon. Wednesday, clear skies, beautiful. Get outside. It's only going to be 53, so kind of moderate temperatures. It's going to be cool at night, so I wouldn't say make any plans at night. Thursday and Friday is going to be rainy. Again, mid to upper 50s. Chance of rain is pretty good, so I wouldn't say make any plans for those 2 days. But Saturday, beautiful weather, 58 degrees. I feel like that's pretty good, moderate temperatures, but no rain in sight.
Well, good.
That's excellent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those are like the perfect temperatures because Columbia gets really hot, especially during the summer. But
absolutely,
I'm excited for these.
And spring's
spring
coming
days.
up next.
Yeah, so it'll be great.
Looking forward to it. That's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for being with us.
See you tomorrow. Have a great evening.